So welcome back. We in the first part we looked at what meditation is and isn't, and we also looked at ways to find that real self that we're paying attention to. For me, it wasn't easy or obvious at first to find the silence or awareness, whatever we're calling that real self. And then we did a little meditation on the contextual field. And again, the names that I've listed here for the real self, the doorways, as we've been calling them, are just the ones that really worked for me. You can use whatever name you like, emptiness, nothingness, as long as it points to the formlessness and not a form, not even a subtle form like light or something. These were the ones that worked best for me. On different days, different doorways worked better than others, easier than others. So I'd like to open it up for questions. We have about an hour. See how many questions come. We have English and Spanish here, so please just feel free to ask. We'll start with Joni when you're ready. You're still muted there, Joni. We can't hear you.
Hi, everyone.
Here we go.
I just wanted to take this opportunity while I've got you here, Helen, with something I've been struggling. And I wondered if I could just talk you through what I'm struggling with by looking at an object.
Mhm.
This has been bugging me for 20 years. This kind of, the doer wants to do it. And anyway, should I just start?
Yeah. Is it to do with the meditation that we've been practicing?
The picture is contextual field.
Yeah.
Picture of my dog. So that's the object. And then you say, and then look at the space around the picture. So I'm looking, I can see the edge where the silver frame is, and then it goes into the wall. And then I can go around it, perhaps a foot around it, and see the space. And in my peripheral vision, I'm seeing the picture. And then I can open it up more. But I presume at this point, I can go away from the picture and just go to all the space around me. Yeah?
Yeah, eventually you'll see, or are already seeing, that the space isn't just around the object. In fact, there's just one infinite formless nothingness in which the picture and the whole room and your body even are appearing in. And it becomes easier to focus on that nothingness, that emptiness, the contextual field, as we're calling it here. But first, it's easier for most people just to focus on it around an object. But naturally, you'll see it doesn't stop anywhere, right? It's just here, the field. It's not only around objects. It's everywhere as it deepens.
I think what's going on here is the doer is getting involved in complexities.
Yeah,
Could you say something to that?
it's going to happen because this form of meditation is so simple that the mind is going to think it's not effective. That was the biggest challenge for me. This can't be effective if it's very simple. And that's why the consistency and just coming back to shifting attention back to the field is all that's needed just to keep with that level of simplicity.
So
Notice
if I,
that the mind is going to want to complicate it, right? Always.
and what, so I have, what's going on now is I'm just curiously playing with this. There's the picture, and I'm looking along the walls and out into the sky, and then I can't see the picture. But there's this nagging feeling, it's there. Sorry to be like this, but it's
You
been
don't
bothering.
You don't need you don't even need to move your eyes away from the picture. You can just become more and more aware of the space around the picture, right?
And
Attention,
look, yeah, and look
attention.
at the picture.
Your eyes are resting on the picture itself, and attention is just noticing this space around, without moving your eyes, the space around the picture, right? And that's all. That's all this is.
Mhm.
Just that. At
And
some point, you'll notice attention wanders off somewhere else,
yeah,
to a thought, usually. You just bring it back to the space around the picture. Your eyes stay on the picture the whole time.
that's what I wanted to know. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank
So
you.
do that, then it all does blend together as one.
Yeah, it becomes obvious fairly quickly when we do this consistently that the picture isn't really a picture and all that. But just for now, for the simplicity, just be mindful of the mind trying to make it more complicated than it is. Thank you. We'll go to Tatiana.
Hello, Helen. Thank you
Hello.
for the opportunity.
Thank you.
It's like Ronnie was saying about to watch the space,
Mhm.
and even though the attention is in the space, it was all over the place. All the sounds, all the sights of everything, and the thoughts and the sensations. It was like I couldn't. It's not like I couldn't concentrate in the space. It was all at once,
Yeah.
and it seems like I can't. It's not working. But the space includes everything.
Yeah. It's the nature of, and this is why I said it several hundred times, I think, during the session that um, attention is going to jump around. You bring it to the space around the object, and suddenly it'll listen to a sound outside, a dog barking, or a thought inside, or it'll notice some restlessness, or a hundred things, right? It will go jump around. And that's okay, that's normal. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong at all. It just means that you are bringing attention is going to jump, and as you bring it back, it's going to be clearer and clearer who you really are. And if we can hear one thing from this whole session, it would be that there's nothing going wrong when attention jumps around like that. Your only job is to bring it back to the space when you notice. And if you don't notice it's jumped, it's okay, right? We just keep it really simple.
Yeah, it seems like I don't believe it. I don't believe that I am this emptiness. It's like if I believe I am form, I'm. It's like I need to believe that I am nothing, empty.
That would
It's,
seem helpful, believing it, but that would just be a thought, a phenomenon also that you would be aware of or would be arising in the space. Belief is really not necessary. Meditation is going to work whether you believe it or not. Because of the simplicity of it, it's very, very powerful. You already are this infinite space of consciousness. The only reason it doesn't seem that way is because most of our attention goes to thoughts and phenomena. As we bring attention back consistently to what you really already are, it's just going to become more and more obvious. And it doesn't need belief for that to happen, luckily, or else we'd all be in trouble.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing this up. Both questions so far have brought up points that I got stuck on as well. So thank you. Thank you. Anna, when you're ready, Anna.
Hola,
Hola.
eh, mm, a mí me ha producido una emoción muy fuerte de tristeza. Yo creo que sí que lo he hecho bien porque yo me he puesto una figura y, y ponía la atención en el espacio, ¿no?
I had a strong feeling of sadness. I think I have done it correctly because I bring a figure and then I was putting my attention in the space around it.
Todavía estoy un poco, eh, bueno, estoy un poco nerviosa, no sé,
I am now
estoy
a bit
bastante alterada.
nervous. Perdón, repite.
Es una emoción muy fuerte que ha venido. Yo era consciente, pero, pero es como, como si no lo pudiera manejar. O sea, ahí llorando, brotando. Bueno, que he sido consciente, quiero decir también de ello.
I have been conscious, aware of a strong emotion, really, this sadness, even crying. I couldn't manage it somehow, but I was also aware of it.
Y
So,
luego se había, eh, sí, no sé si iba a decir algo, Helen.
Continúa si quieres, acaba la pregunta. Acaba la pregunta.
En realidad no es ninguna pregunta, simplemente quería compartir la experiencia que he tenido y si realmente es, bueno, supongo que sí, que es una forma de, bueno, en- en- pues querer entender un poco esto, ¿no?
Mm. I wanted to share this experience I had and wanted to understand this.
so it's very normal that emotions might come during the meditation because when our attention is on the formless space or the real self, awareness, whatever we're calling it, we're finally not able to resist anything, to push against this moment. And so sometimes emotions that we have suppressed will come to the surface. And in our meditation, we can simply use those to notice, I'm aware of this, or this is happening inside the space of the field, or I can see this emotion because it's moving inside the stillness of my being. So we've all got emotions that are coming from some beliefs about ourselves as a separate person that we have been very much suppressing, and only because we don't know how to look at those from the old idea of who we are, the old idea that I'm a person, I'm a someone, I'm a phenomenon. So these just rise to the surface naturally to be released, to be felt, and just doing the best you can to in meditation to let it happen, even though it feels terrible, and then bringing attention back to that which is watching it, that which is conscious of it, of the emotion, as much as you can. And attention probably won't stay on that consciousness, it will move back to the emotion. You just keep bringing it back, and it will go back again. Then you bring it back. And when attention is on the real self, the emotion can't be suppressed. It will just be felt and it will start to shift on its own. It's a way that we can actually be with an emotion without resisting it at all by bringing attention to that in which it appears or that which sees it. So you're not doing anything wrong at all. It can feel pretty terrible, right? It doesn't feel so good, but it's okay, it's normal.
Vale, muchas gracias. Si ha habido un momento que mi propia mente decía poner la atención en el espacio, ¿no? Como para volver, salir de la emoción. Y lo he hecho y sí que he notado liberación también, es como, como si una descarga.
Thank you. There was a moment in which my mind says to take attention back to the space. And in that moment, I felt like something that is relieved, yeah.
We'll experience some emotions and thoughts and things like that wherever our attention is. But the difference is when our attention is on what is real, we can't resist anymore. And the emotion will just be felt, but it doesn't, it's not experienced the same way. We don't suffer from it. We cannot suffer when we have attention on what is real. So that's all we're doing here.
Sí, tengo una duda que no sé si tiene que ver con, vamos, yo tengo la duda de que yo sé que no soy un ser separado, pero me produce al mismo tiempo, si no hay otro, o sea, tengo esa, no sé si, no sé si tiene que ver o sea, si está bien que lo pregunte ahora.
Uh,
Y no sé, a lo mejor tiene que ver con esta tristeza, como no soy un ser separado, pero me siento, no hay otro, entonces estoy sola.
I have a doubt. I don't know if it have really to do with meditation, but I know I am this separate self, but at the same time, I don't know if maybe this is why the sadness came, because I feel alone, because if there is no other, that's the problem.
So as you deepen in your meditation, you will see that you're not alone as a separate self. You are the only being that exists, and therefore everyone that you experience, myself included in that, is your own self. And you will begin to feel very comfortable, very safe with everyone, and feel at home wherever you are. And it'll be impossible to feel lonely ever again. So it's normal, but as the recognition of who you really are takes over, moves more deeply, you'll see that you can never be lonely, never be alone. You're always surrounded by the best of friends in that time.
Bueno, muchísimas gracias, Helen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ruth? You're still muted there, Ruth.
There we are. Yep, got it. Hi.
Hi.
Yes, whether or not this is appropriate for this particular segment, I don't know. And if it's not, I'll just back off and resubmit the question at some other time. But
To do with the meditation we've done?
well, yeah, in a sense, but it's to do with when I'm in the meditation. It is very obvious that I am this, I am. I know that I am, if you will. And but then something that's been really nagging at me is when I'm asleep, the deep sleep. It seems as though I don't know that I am in deep sleep. And in that sense, the knowing of that I am seems to come and go.
The I amness is always constant, even in deep sleep, because if you imagine your body laying in the bed tonight, the bed and the body and the pillows and the duvet all appear inside some space, right? Some spaciousness. That spaciousness has not gone away. There has to be some background context for the bed and everything to appear in, right? Just like the furniture in the room you're sitting in. What happens is in deep sleep, there's no capacity to self-reflect. So you can't know that you are, but you still are in deep sleep. Because to know that you are, the sense of time and space and duality and change all disappears in deep sleep, right?
Yeah.
So you're there in deep sleep, but watching nothing at all, watching nothingness. So right now you're watching the waking state happen. You're watching these words come out of your mouth, this conversation happen. In the dream, if you dream at nighttime, you're watching the dream. You're aware of the dream, right?
Yeah.
Always. And then in deep sleep, you're aware of no thing at all. No time, no space, no duality, no change. But still you must be there to see there's no thing. You need the waking state later for the body to tell me there was no thing at all during deep sleep. But you must have been there to recognize that, right?
Yes, yes. So in deep sleep, I can't know this. I can't know that I am. It's only when I'm awake that I can recognize that there was deep sleep and something must have been there to know that.
You can know that you are. Awareness always is, but you can't tell me about it with the body because you're not interested. For that 8 hours, you're not interested in the body so much and duality. You're like, I'm just having a 8 hours off from duality, sense of duality. I'm gonna let the body sleep, but I'm always aware. There's just awareness and no apparent thing to be aware of in that time, right? Until a dream pops up in the mind, and then you're aware of the dream. Then later
Yeah,
on,
I mean, I really understand what you're saying. It's just that I don't know how to prove, I don't know how to, it seems like something wants evidence that I'm aware when I'm in deep sleep still.
So check out, have spent some time inquiring, does awareness stop? Does it go away? Can it go away?
Yeah.
That's what I had to do to prove it to myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll do that then. Yes. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Bye, Helen.
Bye. So we'll go to Veronica.
Hola.
Hola.
¿Qué diferencia o qué matiz de diferencia hay entre ser consciente de la conciencia y ser consciente de tu conciencia?
What is the difference of subtle difference between being aware of awareness and being conscious of consciousness?
No difference at all. Absolutely no difference. They're all the same. Just for me, sometimes the word awareness seemed to help me notice what was real easier than using consciousness. Other times, consciousness was easier than awareness. Other times, stillness was easier than awareness. And that's why all 14 are on that list, because there were times when only one of them would seem to work, like a big room that is the real self with 14 doors around it. And sometimes I'd try each door, it's locked, and I'd go around to the next one, locked, locked, locked. But one door would open every time. And of course, they're all pointing to the same thing. But somehow just having a choice seemed to really, really help, because I realized I had some ideas about what awareness is, what consciousness is. Had a lot of ideas about silence and stillness. So sometimes shifting to a different word or doorway is just very, very helpful in those moments.
En mi experiencia, de manera natural, llegué como a la práctica sin darme cuenta del silencio, de la quietud, de la presencia, y ahora, cuando empecé a conocer estas prácticas, sí que a la que se me ha abierto es el campo contextual.
In my experience, in a natural way, I started with the silence, the stillness, presence. And now with these practices, what is new to me, open like something new, is the contextual field.
There'll be some that are that we're already aware of, like awareness, silence. And the other ones are just there to help us, find an easier and easier way in, because I had this idea that I should always be able to recognize awareness. And sometimes it just didn't seem that I could, but I could recognize contextual field or awakeness or just the sense that I exist. So they're all there just to help us. Some will be familiar, some not so much. Some exciting, some I don't like them. All of it.
Gracias.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll go to Law. I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Hi.
Hi.
Helen. I've got two questions about meditation. When I focus on an object and there's awareness of the space or surrounding it, I seem to start looking around. But it still stays the same. But is that okay to do, or would you suggest to just really stick to this one object?
You can move your eyes to different objects. I mean, we kept it on the same object today just for simplicity, but you can look at any object. It might be nice to shift your focus with your eyes to something else. As long as you're doing the same thing, which is just to bring attention to the space around it. Sometimes our eyes might be as restless as our attention at first because we've been following the mind for so long. And to look at the same thing for a while, the mind will say it's very boring and it isn't achieving anything, or something like that. But yeah, it's totally okay to move your eyes around as long as you're doing the practice of bringing attention to whatever you're looking at, the space around it.
Yeah, no, it didn't feel like it came from a place of it's getting boring.
Yeah.
So yeah. I also noticed like today there's a lot of tiredness, and sometimes there can be like headaches, and I find it then particularly difficult. So because the attention just gets drawn to it so strongly. If you could maybe have something to say about that.
Yeah, it's very normal. We all have times when I first started to meditate like this, I couldn't even sit still for 20 minutes. Like the body kept jumping up and down again, getting up and sitting down again. If I had any physical pain or anything like that, felt like I couldn't meditate at all. But just doing your best in those situations and perhaps looking for a different doorway. If there's a headache, for example, we could use that as the phenomenon that we are looking at. And we can notice that we're aware of that headache. There's awareness of the headache or something, or the knower knows there's a pain here, something like that, the sense of the knower. Or I'm conscious of the headache, or the headache's happening now and here. And you notice as you do that, attention will immediately go back to the pain and away from the now-ness, the here-ness. And it's normal, it's okay. It will only stay for a nanosecond attention and before it jumps back to the pain.
Yeah, it does.
And there's nothing going wrong there. That's why I keep saying there's no good or bad meditation. So as soon as you notice it's moved, you just bring it back to the now-ness or the knowingness of the headache. And you just do that as many times as you need to. And you'll notice actually you can't resist the headache so much, the pain then, and it starts to soften a little bit.
Mm.
What we do is we say, I should be able to keep attention on what is real. I should be able to make it stay. But we can't. Nobody can. I can't. Right?
Yeah. And you first started it while sitting, but then obviously it would then go into your daily life.
Yeah, because I realized quite quickly that I can't suffer, can't resist anything while my attention is on what's real. And it just started to happen by itself then. Attention wanted to come back to the silence, to listen to the silence. And it took a little while, a few months, but it started to happen more and more consistently. And it moved from something I was doing. I'm sitting to meditate. It's just something I was being. It's a way of being rather than a doing as it deepens.
Mm.
But that'll just happen by itself, right? You can probably just every now and again notice, wow, I'm aware of all of this. You're sitting talking to people, there's awareness of the conversation, and there's a noticing of awareness, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, I have it when I'm driving the car by myself. I seem to always have that or be aware of it. Yeah.
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 It'll just happen. And it's joyful and it's not something we're trying to make happen. It's just beginning to occur. Naturally, something is, or the real self that we are is starting to prefer looking at itself rather than phenomena.
Mm.
Because there's no suffering there, right? And the phenomena just go on by themselves. You're still driving, the body's driving the car,
Yeah, yeah,
just making sure your eyes stay open when you're driving.
yeah. Yes, yes.
Always a good idea.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Helen.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll go to Joni again and then we'll finish for today.
Yeah. So after Larry, I do, if I'm looking around objects, I do that a lot in the contextual field, and zooming out's really easy for me. And it was just that fixing on this one object that kind of boxed me in a bit. And also thinking about when I do meditation with my eyes closed. I had a very deep meditation the other day, and this has happened a few times. And what I notice is all of a sudden I get this oof, as if I've woken up from a dream. And then it's very obvious that I'm now back into reality. And it was very organic the way it happened. And yeah, so I think it depends on how I have presented myself in the meditation as to how receptive I am, how there's much less of a doer involved in it. And sometimes to bring me back, I just notice the breath, and then there's usually a deep sigh, and a bit like the Buddhists do. I'm not concentrating on it, it just happens in the moment. But I did get this because there can be a bit of a gap between me bringing it back. It's a bit hard to describe, but when I said that it happened spontaneously, it's like I just woke up, and it was effortless. It just happened effortlessly. And then sometimes I just come back to the breath to fill that gap. I don't even got any idea.
Here in this meditation, we're not particularly focusing on phenomena, even the breath, focusing on that which is seeing the breath, right? So it's okay, the techniques, but we don't really want to let attention linger on phenomena here, not even the breath.
Yeah. I think that what I'm trying to say, there's kind of an anxiety that's been there a long time that I'm not doing it right. And the anxiety causes blankouts. You know, the resistance can blank me out a bit.
If there's a blank out, as you're calling it, you can't do anything about that until you're aware of it, and that means you come out of it. Then you can even use that. Okay, there's awareness of even that, right? I seem to be back. The sense of separate self is back, is what's happening. And you're aware of that. Yeah.
So include everything like we do in the
Literally
inclusion.
everything. If you start hiccuping, or you sneeze, or you're resisting, or you're frustrated, all of these can be used. You have an itch or a pain, as we were saying before. All of it can be used to point back to that which is real.
And that time when it just happened spontaneously, did I just get lucky?
What happens spontaneously?
When I was in such deep meditation at the end, so much silence, that I just kind of woke up. It's like I'd woke up from a dream, gently woke up from a dream, and I thought, I came back without any trying.
There wasn't any coming back, right? The real self, the silence doesn't go or come back. The phenomenal sense of a separate self disappeared temporarily, is all.
Yeah.
But when there's still identification with that separate self, it feels like I've gone and I've come back.
Yeah.
Silence was there the whole time, right? Before, during, and after.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, we'll squeeze Chris in quickly before. Oh, and Lena. Okay, last two then. When you're ready, Chris.
Hola a todos, gracias a las traductoras.
Thank you all, and thanks to the translators.
Yes, a huge thank you to the translators.
Me pasó hoy por primera vez que enfocándome en el espacio alrededor de mi objeto, vi un baile de átomos en el espacio.
It happened to me for first time today that focusing on the space around the object, I saw the atoms dancing in the space.
Beautiful.
No sé que Helen puede hablarme sobre esto.
I don't know if you can say something about this.
Yeah, it's natural that as we bring attention to what's real more and more, the way that we experience phenomena is going to change. Our experience of thoughts and all of this will be experienced on a more subtle level. We'll begin to feel the energies of things, to see the eventually even to see the atoms, the vibration of it, the in manifestation. Sights, sounds, smells will all be experienced with greater clarity, greater a fuller experience of what the senses are perceiving. And even to see that this isn't really air. It's really something much more fundamental. So you might start to begin to experience phenomena even very, very differently. And to experience like that, it's very, very beautiful, very amazing. Still phenomena nonetheless, but quite beautiful. Every form begins to look very radiant and alive, and you can see on much more subtle layers because you're before all form. You can see the subtlety of form, like you were describing. The trick is not to get attached to it, of course, and to keep bringing attention back to formlessness, even though our experience of form becomes more and more beautiful. And we're not rejecting form at all here. We're just shifting the habit of where attention goes first so that we can rest in that and it becomes a habit.
Muchas gracias a todos. Feliz domingo.
We'll go to Lena, last but not least.
Hi, Helen.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you for squeezing me in. So we talked about it at retreat, which I found very helpful. That when you said that I saw that I don't need to choose, like, so I am the formlessness, and I'm also the phenomena, the emotional, whatever is going on. And I found it to be helpful when I'm meditating, and there is strong emotion. And this approach has been really helpful, like that I don't have to choose. So because this for me helps to release the sense of doership, that like I have to bring attention back to the formlessness that I am, or this part of me that is formless. So like, is it okay to do it in this meditation like that, to kind of see that I'm both?
Actually, if you bring attention back to the real self, awareness, let's just use the word awareness as the example. Let's say some strong emotion comes up in the body and you're noticing that you're aware of it. Naturally, there'll be an allowance of that emotion in the body because attention is on awareness. So there will be both. There'll be the awareness and what we're aware of as we bring attention on the awareness. If attention instead goes to the emotion, we'll lose the sense of awareness. It hasn't gone, but we won't notice it. And we'll be trying to pick one or the other. Awareness or the emotion, or the awareness or the emotion. So when we bring our attention to that which is aware of the emotion is included inside that awareness, right? It'll be a holistic experience of all of it, phenomena and awareness. So it seems like a better choice to choose both form and formless, but it's still engaging a sense of a doer that's choosing, a chooser. The only thing, and it's subtle, of course, but the only thing that remains forever is the formlessness. And when we rest our attention there, we can also take in how it's appearing as form, as an emotion, etc. So the only way to fully disengage any sense of doing is to bring attention to the formlessness, where forms are just coming and going inside of that, right? And there's nothing to choose from there. You get a sense of it?
Yeah. So when that happened at retreat, this experience that I'm both, it was not like, oh, it was not a choice, like I need to choose both. It was more, I don't know, like a recognition or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what I meant. That's what happened in meditation. So did that happen? This experience happen because attention was on the true self, and then it felt like I'm both.
Yeah, attention was on the silence or the awareness. And naturally, there's an inclusivity in that, right? It includes all apparent forms, phenomena. So it feels like both, but really there's just one formlessness appearing as form. but it's very restful. Like right now, attention's on the formlessness for me. That's the only place it can be now. And also the eyes are looking at something that looks like a laptop, but I know it isn't. So it's both, but those both have been seen to be the same. That just deepens naturally in meditation, right? As you're saying.
So the longer or the more frequently I bring attention back to the awareness that I am.
Eventually, yeah. Eventually, it'll be so obvious that all phenomena are awareness in disguise. All sounds are silence, appearing as sound. All thoughts are the stillness, appearing as a thought. And it won't matter where attention goes. You could put attention on thoughts for an hour or more, a day, a year, a lifetime, and you still feel utterly peaceful and blissed out. But for now, we're practicing bringing attention to the formlessness. And just to help that recognition occur.
Yeah, okay, got it. So what's when there's like a sense of doer involved, like the mind, I guess, saying, "Oh, now I have to bring attention back to the self or to awareness." What's how to approach that?
Just noticing even the sense of a doer can be used as a phenomena, right? Oh, there's a sense of a doer, and I'm also aware of it.
Right.
This doer is doing something, and the beingness is noticing it.
Right. Yeah.
Not doing anything about the doer.
Yeah.
Or else we're being a doer of actions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you all so much for your intelligent questions here today. And my advice would just be to take this lightly, just play with meditation, not trying hard at all, relaxing into it, knowing that no sage ever started meditation and did it consistently right from the start. It wasn't my experience. It was inconsistent, but just gently intending for more consistency. And you'll notice some days, some doorways feel better than others and easier than others. And maybe just trying a new one every now and again, working down the list of what we've done today. I will put that list of all of them in the description when I put this up on YouTube. And if anyone needs any help with this, you are always welcome to join our community. There is so much help available there and lots more support and guidance as well. And if you're interested in joining the community, I'll put the link in the description as well. Thank you so much for being with me today. Namaste.